No excuses, people. When November 3rd comes, we're going to be like, I did it. We did it. Yeah. All of us together, we did it. Oh, there we go.
This group of women is on a mission.
Listen, politics is boring.
As the music blasts, they're blasting out thousands of text messages to women of color living in key battleground states. Their message, vote.
Oh, I hit 1,000! Whoa! I got a power thumb. Oh, that's so cool.
We're having a national Text Out the Vote Day. There's 600 women from 38 states participating in today's event.
How many did you get? How many did you get? 3,000! 4,000!
Leading the charge is Amy Allison, the founder of a group called She the People, which has launched what she says is the first national voter mobilization effort focused exclusively on women of color.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Women of color can make this happen. We have never had in this country a strategic and targeted effort to reach women of color. And yet women of color are the critical vote. This is the moment.
Women of color are the fastest growing voting bloc in the country. Allison believes they could prove pivotal in delivering Democrats a definitive victory.
Looking at the data from 2016, it's clear that women of color have a decisive role to play in the 2020 election. Just take Michigan, for example. Trump won the state by 10,000, and women of color who did not vote, over 205,000 people. In Pennsylvania, Trump won by 44,000, yet women of color who did not cast a vote, 268,000. Finally, in Texas, Trump won Texas in 2016 by 807,000 votes. Women of color eligible but didn't vote, over 2 million.
I accept your nomination.
While the history-making nomination of Kamala Harris generated excitement among many women of color, it's actually the down-ballot races that could impact who wins at the top of the ticket.
The down-ballot races fuel the organizing. It fuels the issues, the conversations with the community that drive higher turnout.
This year, a record 115 women of color are running for Congress, and one of them is Candace Valenzuela in Texas.
We run on behalf of our communities to lift them up. And women of color have been doing this for years. It's just time that they now have a seat at the table.
If Valenzuela wins, she'd not only flip her Dallas area district, but she'd become the first Afro-Latina to serve in Congress. We're seeing a lot of women of color running. What do you think is behind that?
Seeing Donald Trump in the Oval Office, I think, was a wake-up call for a lot of women who may have considered running for public office, but thought that they didn't quite have enough degrees, they didn't quite have enough qualifications. Times have been tough, but many of you here have been putting in the work to save the very fabric of this country.
Valenzuela says she never imagined she'd run for Congress one day.
When I moved out to the suburbs of Dallas, I was resigned to thinking that this was just going to be a red area and that we weren't going to see a lot of other changes.
Some argue now that Texas is a swing state. Is that what you believe?
I do. I've believed this for a couple of years now, but I've never felt it more than I do in this moment.
Texans haven't voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since Jimmy Carter, but polls show President Trump and former Vice President Biden now in a dead heat. The Lone Star State is an electoral gold mine with 38 electoral votes. If Biden pulls off a win here, Trump would have virtually no path to victory.
This is a state with a quarter of the electorate being women of color, who are the most likely Democrats, with a vote-eligible population that dwarfs the numbers that Trump won that state. It's a true battleground state.
Valenzuela's campaign hopes to drive voter turnout in the mostly suburban district she's running to represent.
My name is Candace Valenzuela, and I'm running for Congress.
Her opponent, Beth Van Dyne, is a former Trump administration official who calls herself part of a conservative squad.
I'm Beth Van Dyne. I'll never defund the police or side with criminals.
And that's why we stand with Beth Van Dyne.
Most experts rate this race as a toss-up. Some view the dueling campaigns as a battle to define the suburban vote.
Do you think that there are some misconceptions about who lives in the suburbs and who are the voters in suburbs?
There is a huge misconception. I am a soccer mom. I am a suburban mother. I am a wife in the suburbs. And what I want for my children, for my family, for my community is the safety and the prosperity that's afforded within the American promise. And the color of my skin does not change that.
The 36-year-old Valenzuela grew up on the border in El Paso, Texas. Her Mexican-American mother met her black father in the Army. Valenzuela's childhood wasn't always easy.
I learned growing up that not all homes have four walls.
We lived in a homeless shelter on relatives' couches, and at one point ended up living in a kiddie pool outside of a gas station with my mom. But we were able to get things together through some key programs. We received housing through HUD. We received food stamps to keep us fed, and public education became a home for us. But when I think about my dream, going to college, becoming an educator, there was so much hard work, but there was also so much luck. And when you're working hard and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, luck shouldn't give you a stable life.
Good job.
The mom of two has shifted to mainly virtual campaigning because of the pandemic. And as Election Day draws near, the fact that she could make history is not lost on her.
What would you hope that you, being in Congress, would say to other people who looked like you or young kids who looked like you growing up?
That the halls of government is theirs. I know that people may know this intellectually, but they don't feel it viscerally. And I want them to know deep down that this is their country too.
So I picked up my mom, and we are going to go and drop off her ballot.
This is it. We're here. We arrived at the polling place.
Already more than 7 million people have voted early in Texas.
So this is the line. It's 8:30, still wrapped around the building.
It inspires me to just see all of these individuals here out for early voting.
A record-shattering number in a state that's made it more difficult to vote in the last 4 years and traditionally has low turnout.
Getting close to the front of the line. I've been in this line for about 40 minutes.
I am heading inside to go and vote.
Across Texas, about 650,000 more women of color have voted at this point in the election compared to in 2016, according to She the People.
I'm voting for women's rights. I'm also really excited to vote for my sorority sister, Kamala Harris. So today I'm wearing my pearls and I'm getting ready to stroll to the poll.
Go get your tias, your abuelas, your family members, your mujeres, and bring them out to vote.
As an African-American woman, today is very special to me. Out of everything that I think that our foreparents have gone through, I'm determined to make my vote count.
Hey, hello, everyone. Yes.
With a growing chorus of voices making themselves heard this year, Amy Allison hopes the impact will stretch far beyond Election Day.
What we're doing is we're diffusing a centuries-old practice, prioritizing white guy vote and interests over everybody else, because we want a equal share of the society and we want to govern. And 2020 is a year where so much of that is coming together. We're helping lead the country into a new era.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.